Welcome back. This is video 3. Functions make the game work. So functions are the doers of the things in JavaScript. They're reusable blocks of code that you can write once and run again and again. So it saves you the need to repeat the code all the time. There are a number of ways to define functions, but for now we're going to concentrate on one simple type. Here we have defined a function using the keyword function. Then we follow it by a name with parentheses put after it. So it's almost like declaring a variable on some level. But then after the function, rather than an equal sign for a variable, we put 2 curly braces. And then inside those curly braces goes all the code. So this is a lot like CSS, right? We put curly braces, we define an element, we put curly braces, and then we put the property value pairs. So when we actually run the function, we simply type the name of the function followed by the parentheses. So we are going to jump into our console so that we can actually run this function. Now I'm going to open up our guess, the HTML document that does contain the code that we've put in there. I'm going to use my Firefox Developer Edition. You can do this on any browser. They do have the console, so the Web Developer Tools console. I'm going to right click and find Inspect. And there we go. So I'm going to click on console and I'm just going to type in the function check guess, and it even knows because the browser has checked out my code. And so when I hit enter, I am calling the function check guess, and it is performing a task, which is to bring up an alert in our window that has the string that we put in, which is I am a placeholder. Later on in the course, we will find out that this particular alert is a window object method. Let's get back to our functions. We know that we don't want to just spit out a placeholder message. Obviously, this is a game. We want to check whether a player's guess is correct or not and then respond appropriately. So this is where a conditional comes in, right? We're going to say, hey, check this guess. And if this happens, then this should happen. Otherwise, do some other stuff. So let's walk through that. I've gone ahead and copied that whole bunch of script there into our Atom text editor, and that is a lot of code. So let's go through each section to explain what it does. The first line declares a variable within the function called userGuess, and it sets its value to whatever the user or the player has put inside the text field. So if I did like 10, that's what it would be. And then we're going to run that through a built-in number constructor, and that's just to make sure that the value is definitely a number. That's like going to be a Boolean value. And since we're not changing this variable, we're going to declare it as a constant. It's inside a function. So if we use a constant inside a function, it doesn't affect anything else outside of it. Finally, we encounter our first conditional code block. And remember, a condition is, if this happens, then this happens, right? It starts with an if as a keyword, and then we have some parentheses. Inside those parentheses is a test. And then if that returns true, then we have some curly braces that basically tells the program what to do, tells the script what to do, right? So in this case, if the guess count really equals 1, okay, which means it's their very first time entering a number, then we're automatically going to populate an area of our HTML code with previous guesses, which is that method guesses.text content equals, etc. As long as the guess count is definitely number 1. So once it's not number 1, it's going to go to the very next thing, which is actually saying, okay, well, whatever that guess was, go ahead and put it in. And you'll notice that's actually not conditional. So that's going to happen no matter what. And you can see by the operator, the plus equals, that means it's going to append or add to that area. And we can see that in our actual guess the number game. It starts to list the guesses after that first previous guesses text. Thanks for watching. I hope this gives you a general idea about functions. Of course, we are going to do so much more throughout the class with this because this is kind of the core of JavaScript, making the page do the things. Reach out if you have any questions or concerns. I am happy to help.